Shall we play a game?
No, I should probably go live then. Good morning to Michael Newbury, Steve G, 1927, Metra, and Crazy Dash. Hello, hello, hello. I am trying to get set up, so let's see how we go. After a big day on the trains yesterday, I was a bit slack. We are travelling back in history today. Crazy Dash wishes he could do this stuff on console without a capture card. Yeah, it's a bit different in the console land, isn't it? I should put the right glasses on. Where are they? There they are. Because my daytime walking around driving glasses aren't very good for the computer. So we're going back in history. We're back into the 1940s. And rail driver's not working. Fantastic. Perfect. All right. We'll do it by hand. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. We've got to wait for this signal anyway. We're in one of these green things, the Sacramento Northern. Hello, SIT. How's the sound at the moment? Looks kind of okay to me. But anyway, we're going back in history. We're going to run a little bit of the Sacramento Northern onto the streets into San Francisco. Then we're going to swap to Train Sim World, and that could be quite dramatic from a streaming perspective. We'll see what happens. Hello, Monty Burns. And we will run a baby bullet service down to San Jose, and then we will, I'm not sure if we'll come back, we'll come back to Train Simulator Classic again. I'll probably just leave it running. It's almost time to go. It's just going to be sad because I've got to drive it by hand. That's okay. Off we go. Out into the city streets of Oakland, California. It's probably actually a little bit closer to Berkeley where we are here, I think. This could be quite hard to drive by hand. Oh well, we'll see. Sounds good, thank you, Michael. Crazy Dash says I don't do this because capture cards are annoying. Yeah, I've got one for my Xbox. Because I do actually occasionally stream Train Sim World from the Xbox S. Interestingly, people don't seem to notice when I do. I've done Tram Sim from the Xbox S too. I have to be careful where I put my coffee since I'm driving this by hand. Now, which brake is it? That one. Back in the keyboard land. Coming up on a San Francisco key system tram. This was a very extensive tram network around San Francisco, Berkeley and Oakland. I think it went as far south as Moraga. It's south? East. East, baby. It was quite an extensive network. So we're just going to trundle in. Monty Burns says, didn't know you could drive trams in Train Sim Classic. Yes, you can. There's a few. There's not many. This is probably the best behaved of all of them because this is the only professional effort that I'm aware of. But there are some others. You're finally back home in California, Crazy Dash. What an amazing trip you've had. For those who don't know, Crazy Dash has been traipsing all over Europe, and I'm not surprised you're tired. Not at all. I'm actually a little bit tired myself after yesterday. I had a big day out in the railway, firing again. I tried a grand experiment at the start of the day, and let's just say it was an abject failure. The experiment was a poor idea. It took me a little while to recover from that, but that's okay. My driver forgave me. Eventually. Well, yes, it is technically an interurban, but only to people in America, because then for people outside America, they're trams. The trams that run on our streets are bigger and longer than this. They're basically trains. Bring this to a stop, hopefully without crashing into the back of the other one. I think we've got enough brakes to get away with it. We do. So in the 80s and 90s in Melbourne, we had trams about the same size as the intercity car there. But our current trams are 4 or 5 car monsters. They take up a city block, so they're quite big. So reflective of these things. But yes, in America, these things were definitely... I suppose I should load my passengers, shouldn't I? I don't have a HUD. Yeah, I don't have to load my passengers. That's fine, then. It's so rare that I drive Train Sim Classic by hand. And I did start the rail driver, so I'm kind of annoyed that it's not working. But that's life. It'll work in TSW. Crazy Dash says, yeah, I didn't sleep on the 10-hour flight back home. I was watching movies the whole time. I have to say, that tends to be what I do as well. I don't sleep well on planes. Oh, we've got a yellow signal now, so we should be okay. No, we've gone red. Let's have some stoppage, tram. Let's have some more stoppage. Oh, I made it. I used all the stoppage I've got, but I made it. Of course, I can't see the signal anymore, but it's probably changed by now. Look at that. Green. Funnily enough, in Australia, we use those as permissive signals, and you can actually go through red ones. You just have to have the right circumstances to be able to go through the red one. SIT, I am okay. I am tired, and I am sore, and I'm going to be even more tired and even more sore because tomorrow I'm doing it again. Because it's a public holiday in Melbourne tomorrow. So I'm taking the opportunity to take a run up to Gembrook because I need to get more Gembrook runs in for my qualifications. It's very important. Yep, the lights have gone green. Off we go. Oh, I forgot these interurbans don't stop anywhere after they leave that depot in Oakland. It's a demarcation dispute between the railways. I'm going too fast. There we go. And of course, as soon as it tells me I'm going too fast, I can speed up. And JT once again is telling us about trains in New York City. I like the 7 line. The 7 line's in World of Subways. And I'm not going to tell you it's completely accurate representation, but it's actually not bad. This is called the Sacramento Northern, Monty Burns. Southern Division. Because funnily enough, we're not in Sacramento. I better stop before it stops me. Slow down. No, I think it's already done it. Yes, it's done it. Fine. I was naughty. I admit it. The thing you see on the left there with the 25 that's displayed currently and now 35 is actually a safety system. It's a forebear to the positive train control that we see, say, on the various lines in New York, the LIRR, for example, in the game. And this thing was around before computers. This thing was around in the late 1920s. So it's pretty impressive. Let's keep a little bit of brake on down here. Yeah, 17 is an interesting speed limit, and 11. Not that I can talk, the speed limit on the railway I'm on is 15, and it's 9 sometimes. Monty Burns Gaming, you can get this from Steam. Wait for a sale, though. I mean, it's fun, but still wait for a sale. Just missed one. Wobber. And it was on the sale, too. It was about $16 or something like that in Australia, so it would have been about, what, 10 in America? Similar in pounds, I imagine. Now we can speed up. And in this thing, you can drive the green ones. You can drive... Just slow it down. It starts whining at me. You can drive these little box motors over here, which is pretty cool. You can, if you hack your way into it with Scenario Planner, you can actually drive the orange ones and the red ones, but they don't have interior cabs, so you have to drive them outside. But you can actually drive them in your own scenarios, just not in the normal ones. The 11 is the red, yes. So this is the first trial run of my news streaming setup. It seems to be working, kind of. It seems okay. I have my new drive-in screen monitor, which I just realised I'm not centred on. There we go. Now I'm centred on it. And I have that running a 2K screen in the middle, and I've got two, what are effectively 1K either side of it. One's running YouTube and the other one's running OBS for the stream. So I have gone away from two monitors. It's been an interesting experience to get it working. So the different trams that you get on here, these ones are San Francisco key system. So this is the main system that runs through San Francisco. There still are some of those surviving today running on the Market Street route. The green ones are the Sacramento Northern, and as NJTE tells us, interurbans, but they are in fact trams. They're basically lightweight trains. We call them, today we'd probably call them a light rail vehicle rather than a tram. Because, you know, we're like that. And these red ones over here are a different railway. The Interurban Electric Railway Company, and they ran through Oakland into some of the other areas, but you never see these unless you put them in Scenario Planner anywhere but along here. They just sit around and do pretty much nothing, but you do see them running over the bridge quite a bit, which we are coming up to. I can understand why you don't want to get out of bed, Crazy Dash. Metro is already running late in TSW3 on Peninsula Corridor. That's not that unusual. Hey, I plan on driving a Baby Bullet in Peninsula Corridor today. In the public version, do Baby Bullets work or not? I got mixed results when I searched. They run fine in dev, but I can't run that one for you, obviously. There's a sailboat over there on the water. You can see the beginnings of San Francisco coming up in front of us. We have the Oakland Bay Bridge, the old one, of course. It was made of Meccano. And how a language has changed. Originally, when it was built, it was described as an erection. Why? Because it was an erector set. Well, you wouldn't use that language anymore. The cab car works in the MP36, does it? Can you drive the MP36 itself? We are now coming up onto the beginnings of the Oakland Bay Bridge, which in this era was shared with traffic. Today this bridge doesn't even exist, it's gone. What am I putting the brakes on for? What a wally. This bridge is actually completely removed, and there's a new bridge here now. It's quite pretty, but it doesn't have the imposing menace of the old Oakland Bay Bridge. Metra has had a FP40PH2 cat lead a Baby Bullet set. Well, why not? It does seem a little variable what happens. We're going to have a go. If I can't get a baby bullet to work, I've got one that seemed to spawn when I tried it, but I didn't actually try and drive it, so we'll see how it goes. If it runs okay, we'll keep it. If not, we'll just jump into the F40 and take that down to San Jose instead. But I just sort of want to see the different eras. NJT wants to see a modern-day Peninsula corridor with the electrification and the Stadler Kisses, along with the diesel line down to Gilroy. Well, the diesel line's in this game. We'll be running it later. NJT says hopefully they include the California high-speed rail. That's the imaginary railway, right? On this new Peninsula corridor route, as in real life they'll use the route to get to San Francisco, joining the line in San Jose. Yes, high-speed imaginary rail. One day. They went one of the red ones. Blinked and missed it. So did I. This is always such a weird view, isn't it? Let's see if I can get us outside the bridge. Can get us outside the bridge. Oh, some of the bridge reflects and some of it doesn't. Yay, Train Simulator Classic. Yeah, our government claims to be building high-speed rail too, but it never actually materialises. So we're climbing into the main span in 1984. Some of this span actually fell in the Lola Prieta earthquake. People were trapped in here. Over there is, actually I can't remember, I think Yuba Buena Island is the one in the middle here, and that one's Treasure Island, where the naval base was. Home to TV shows like Mythbusters for quite a while there. Over in the distant distance, there, can't quite get it. It's Alcatraz. Oh, and my train is yelling at me. Oh, quiet. Surely I've stopped enough by now. Oh, it's because we're going down the downhill bit, and I still had power on. A little bit of brakes instead. So we head down into Yuba Buena. No idea if I'm saying that right, but into the portal. This tunnel is still used because they joined the new bridge into this tunnel structure, which is a relatively impressive feat engineering wise, because one day they were using the old bridge and the next day they were using the new bridge. I've been over the new bridge. I wouldn't have minded being there on the day they crossed over, but not there yet. Alcatraz was over in the bay. We'll get another look at it as we go through this part of the bridge. Hello, Brad MacArthur. I did live in California from about... Hello, Mr. Mayhem. From about... Well, I went over there the first time in about 1998. And I started living there... Not that I'd admit this to the US government. In 1999. There's Alcatraz. So if you look at the steamboat, directly behind the steamboat is Alcatraz. And the Golden Gate Bridge all the way over there in the distance. And this thing is called Coit Tower. But yes, I did actually live here. And I came home in about late 2002. Had a few trips back since then, and we were about to go on one just before COVID, but we have not travelled outside of our country since the COVID debacle. Kind of in the contemplation stage, without having any hope in paying for it, a European holiday next year. So we'll see how that pans out. Go visit Dovetail. Crazy Dash says nothing has been built to Bakersfield, LA. Bakersfield's such an interesting place. It's like the central mid-valley of California. It's quite different to anywhere else in America, I think it's fair to say. I don't think I was there in 1939, Metra. Now, at that point, the person who had a 50% deal in my creation was still trying to escape Europe. It's the events that were happening there. I am running TSC at the moment, Mr. Mayhem. Well picked. We will be crossing into TSW in a moment, but I can only put one game on the stream, so I put TSW on because that's the one we will be the most time in. Cool if you could put multiple games on the stream, then you could switch and have chapters. That'd be awesome. NJTE says, when you do come back to the USA, please visit New York City and see how much we're improving the system. Oh, like if we go to Europe, there's a fair chance we'd actually go to Europe either via America or come back via America. Simply because a flight to Europe from Australia is like 24 hours, 25 hours. It's just crap. Whereas a flight to America is 15. Fly into LA or San Francisco and then bum around there for a while, cross over to New York. So how about the news, thinking of New York, how about the news that came out recently that we are going to have LIRR AI traffic in the New York-Trenton route. Ah, thank you, Metro. And Brad that the route is set in 1939. It's meant to be, but I actually think it's set in the 1940s. I know it claims late 30s, but I reckon it's 40s. That is totally based on personal knowledge of the area. They're coming off the Bay Bridge and coming into the transit centre now. This area is one of the most confused freeway areas that you'll encounter. Have fun, Mr. Mayhem. Thank you for dropping by. We'll be in Train Sim World in about 3 or 4 minutes, I would suggest. Oops, go real quick. There we go. Let me move now. I'm coming into San Francisco. This area we're driving in now is a bus transit area now. And it had the unfortunate issue that they built a brand new shiny one and closed it a couple of days after opening it when they realised that some of the main support beams were cracked. And they went, ah, that's not good. Brad says he might have to buy the New York-Trenton route. Yeah, it's an interesting thing about how much difference that AI traffic will make, because you actually won't see it very much. You'll see it in Penn Station. And you'll see a little bit of it going past Sunnyside Yard. The other big yard's not in the game, so you won't see that. And the rest of the LIRR is not visible from any of the New York-Trenton trackage. You actually won't see those trains very much. But there are more trains coming in for the other services as well, so the community was asked, do you want us to put in the other trains even though we don't have the right stock for them? And the result was yes. So that has happened. Emmanuel Perez, hello, says lovely clocks. I'm guessing you mean the gauges on the right hand side there. They are quite nice representations of Trade Sim Classic. So we squeal our way around the very tight curve into the Bay Transit Centre. NJT says they're also putting the Conrail shared assets operations in as well. Yeah, that's the they'll be run by the wrong diesels because they don't have the two right diesels in the game. Pull up to the platform and open your doors, says the grumpy old man. Well, we shall do that in a moment. As we make our way down track 6, or for our New Zealand friends, track 6. Hello, John907i. Welcome. Yeah, crazy. They're not actually doing the Princeton branch. That would be cool, but they're not. And NJT, yes, CSX and Norfolk Southern jointly run that operation. The mighty operator Conrail, huh? I always thought Conrail was a bit of a loser operator, to be honest. A bit like Amtrak. It's like all the other companies get together because they're all failing and they go, hey, let's make Conrail. And that's it for this one. So in the... I don't know what will happen when I start this, but I'm going to... I don't know if you'll actually be able to see what I'm doing. No, you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, well, I'm going back to Steam, and I'm going to start Train Sim World. This could be interesting, because now I've got two games running at the same time. I'll get Train Sim World up and going, while I'm sitting here at the scenario completed screen. And I can, in theory, do this. Ah, it worked. Okay then. Yeah, I'm definitely in the right version. My level's low. I was just thinking, well, I've got much installed, have I? Ah, it's a good thing, I guess. So we're going to try an MP36, and we'll see how we go. What's it going to run? 152. San Francisco to San Jose. And what do you reckon? Well, we have a little bit of light clouds. No, have some lightning. Let's have some lightning. Yes, why not? Okay, catching up with the chat. Is the Transit Centre a loop? Yes, it is. And Brad plays New York Trenton on TSC and quite enjoy it. It goes all the way to Philly on TSC. I really wish it did on Train Sim World, to be honest. This looks vaguely promising. This might actually work. Alright, let's set this thing up. Ooh, rail driver's working. Oh, it's very quiet though. Open doors. What side? What side? Right side, I guess. There you go, the doors. They're very slow, I think, with music services. Have I got headlights on? Let's skim around here and find out. Yes, I do. We are in San Francisco. Now, if you're wondering where we were, you can see a billboard in the distance, standing up on the buildings. That's pretty close to where that transit centre is. So that's where we finished up the other service. It's probably a little bit further away from that, but not much. Now, windscreen wipers. And I think in this thing, I have to turn on some other stuff too, or I won't go very far. Gauge lights. Front markers, why not? Hope they're not red. Engine run, generator field, fuel. Mind you, the engine's running, so that one should have been on anyway. And does this have head-end power? It does, doesn't it? I hear something cranking up. It's very quiet, isn't it? Hopefully it's loud enough for you guys. It's not very loud for me. The rain's very loud. Alright. Let's get some doors closed and get out of here. Hope it's actually got sound. Certainly got the rain. The doors closing. Doors? What are we doing, doors? They're not closing. Let's push the button again. It worked that time. Got outside sound. That's good. These marker lights I turned on are red, aren't they? Oh well. While it's thinking about releasing its brakes, I'll turn off those marker lights. Or maybe I didn't cut the brakes in. Did I not cut the brakes in? No. That would be why it's not moving. Now it'll move. Eventually. After it pumps the train up. There it goes. There is some cab sound in here. If I open the window it'll be a bit louder. Open that one too. Can't. Alright. Alright game, we'll play it your way. Killed a bing bonger. You're about 20 seconds behind there, Metra. Step and ground lights too. Oh, you want too much. You just want too much, really. Are they behind me or something? No, they are. There you go, Metra. Just for you. It's the world's dirtiest fire extinguisher. Just saying. We cruise our way out of the yard. Ah, very cool, cat. Good to see you again. I thought you were working this morning. NJT says nationalised operations are cool. I guess what happened with Amtrak. We've got all the lights on now. Need to restock the restaurant carriage. Oh yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, this does stop at a few places. But that's okay. That'll be fun. Because after we've run this one, we'll finish the deal back in Train Sim Classic, which is still running in the background. You can just say thank you, it's okay, NJTE. And so one day you'll make me concerned by giving me $500. It actually would concern me, to be honest. Is that green? That is green, up on the top right there. And I think this is a silent crossing, so we'll just Beelzebub it. Emmanuel Perez says, do you really need traffic lights in the HUD? I find it helpful to have the signalling turned on the top right. It's useful. I usually leave that on no matter what route I'm running. This one, to be honest, I could probably get away with it without it because I know the route well enough. Even though it's pissing down with rain. Pick up a bit of power now. We cruise our way through the tunnel, 22nd Street. If you win Lotto NJTE, you're welcome to give me 500 bucks. If you don't win Lotto, don't do it. Another hornless crossing. That's very true, Crazy Dash. Especially now. And we have another La Nino declared, which means 7 to 8 years of drought for both of us. Notice the Baby Bullet's quite unique because it put the air brakes on first, then it waited for the dynamics to cut in, and when they did, it's released most of the air brake. It's gone back down to only a £20 application. So it's quite a unique approach to doing it. You need some munchies there, John, do you? I thought this was a quiet area in GTE. Hasn't it gotten... It's got X boards, doesn't it? Not W boards. But that's okay. We'll just Beelzebub our way through, it'll be fine. So we rather ineffectively crawl into this platform. I braked a little early. It's clearly had some work done on it since I was last running this one. But that's alright, we will do better on the next stop. We'll make up some time, have some spirit of running. We haven't got any safety systems turned on, so we can do that. That'll do. Ooh, we're in the weeds. Let's come out of the weeds a bit. Ah, there's more weeds. Clearly, the 2 camera wants to be in the weeds. We don't want to be in the weeds, we want to be over here somewhere. So we can see all our people getting in and out. Hey, learn something every day, Crazy Dash. Well, the real reason I don't blow the horn is because it annoys Metro. As you can probably tell. It's right at that moment that someone grabs your phone and runs out with it in San Francisco. Just saying. If you're ever riding public transport in San Francisco, it doesn't happen so much on Muni that I've seen, but on BART and Caltrain, if you have your phone out, I would suggest sitting on the upper galleries in Caltrain, because no one seems to go up there because they're too hard for the run and grab thieves to get out of, so they don't tend to do it up there. I would not get your laptop out on any train in the Bay Area, because you'll lose it. And if you do have your phone out, or if you have bags with you, if you're coming from the airport, for example, and you're using BART, which I usually do, put the bags in against the wall and you sit in the other seat, so that it's much more difficult for someone to grab it and run. Because unfortunately, it's rather prevalent. And what the usual mode of operation for these people is that a couple of people will stage a fight and get everybody's attention. And then another person comes and grabs, just as the doors are about to close, they grab something like a laptop or someone's phone, and then all three run out of the carriage. And it's so common. I've seen it so many times riding mass transport. Off we head to Bayshore in the pissing down rain. Actually, I have to say rain's not that unusual around San Francisco. But anywhere else in the Central Valley, for example, no, it'd be very unusual to get rain at all. Get through the more industrial area of San Francisco, which of course lots of rich people live in now. CTA makes Metro feel unsafe. It's not CTA. In fairness, it's not their fault. We've got a yellow signal coming up. Probably, oh, I know why, because we're going to be changing tracks. So I just need to slow down a little bit. Just a little bit. Because we're going to change onto a different track down here. It's not like it's a really bad area, Monty Burns. San Francisco is actually quite nice to live in. I mean, I did. I think their challenge stems, and a lot of governments do this, and I don't really want to talk politics, but where it basically comes from is a reluctance to prosecute small crime. I was braking for the yellow signal that's not yellow anymore, Metro. So yes, I know it's too early for the station. Much. Let's wipe us off while we're in the tunnel. Yeah, the weather effects are pretty good. It's one of the areas of train sim that I do like. And I particularly like the dynamic weather that we got with Train Sim World 3. And if you haven't upgraded, then grab it in the next sale. There were some great bundle deals in the last sale. The best one I saw, you could actually buy one of the routes, and it came with Train Sim World. And the route was only about, I don't know, it was $12, I think. It's just about nothing. Passengers, our next stop is Bayshore. If you're sure about getting off at Bayshore, then be sure to take all of your belongings with you, because I will surely sell them if you don't. How good are this thing's brakes in the rain? We're finding out. And not bad is the answer. Not bad at all. John likes the weather effects, and they're cozy in the snow. Yeah, the snow's getting better and better as the game progresses. I think it's as more is learnt about the capabilities of the Unreal Engine. And I know that sounds funny in a game that's, what, 4 years old now, but yeah, they're still very much learning about what they can do. Which is pretty cool. We have a new line coming out soon. We have the Glossop line not very far away. Off we go to South San Francisco. Crazy Dash has a friend that lives in the area, has had shootings happen. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's a bit of a fallacy that no one has guns in California. A good mate of mine works on the docks, and he's got a permit because quite often there's people trying to get into the docks and they try and carjack people on the way in. Because docks, like railways, are always in the worst areas of a city. This is the track change I was thinking of coming up here. Have a UP freight waiting to come into the city there. Some empty timber cars. These things are infamous for falling over. They've got too much weight at the top when they're empty, so they just fall over sometimes. Look, San Francisco is a nice city. Just and you can be quite safe in San Francisco, even if you go to the worst areas like Tenderloin and Mission, which you need to if you want to experience the city properly, because the best and worst is in those areas. If you want to try some really amazing foods, Mission is the place to be. And there's a lot of cool things about the city too, so don't be dissuaded from going there, just be careful. It's probably no worse than any other big city, but I don't know that it doesn't happen, but I never saw any of that kind of crime happening in New York subway, for example. Plenty of other weird shit happens in the New York subway, but not that. I was very happy when the fix went in that meant the water came back over here. It's always looked so barren without the water. It's good to have it back. But go for your life, NJTE. Hit the bridge. How? Come over this side. NJT asks, has Caltrain started testing the Sadler Kisses under their own power? I believe so. I know they've done clearance testing, hauling them with diesels, and I think they have actually started the power testing as well. In fact, Crazy Dust has just confirmed that in the chat. We have kisses and flirts in Australia as well. I keep wondering what the next one's going to be called, given we've got Kisses and Flirts. Hello, Nathan Reader. How are you? I'm okay. Beelzy bubble off. Have a look around while we wait. All the bike rockers there. It's even right. Look at that. Hey mate, how you doing? You getting on or getting off? Can't just stand there. Same with you, you seem confused, you're just standing around. How about you guys? Just hanging around? Yeah, that's fine.
The doors are about to close.
Crazy Dash says there's also a wink and a smile. Excellent. So next we'll have the hickey. I wonder what was pushing me towards the train. It's a road. Oh, that's cool. Just do that for a while. Now, well, it's not cool anymore because the rain went away. That looks cool again. Heading off to San Bruno. We're passing one of the UP yards here. NJT says from the city conversation earlier, New York City is a very good demonstration of the wealth gap. I think any modern city is, pretty much anywhere in the world, with the exception of Finland. Too much, only one initial. And yeah, I know, I'm supposed to honk 4 times, but I don't want to deafen everyone. Passengers, next stop is San Bruno. If your name is Bruno, congratulations. Bruno rides free today. You don't have to brake all that hard coming into San Bruno because you get a gravity assist. There's another Caltrain unit coming in the other side. I was kind of hoping I'd have enough time to make the thing I keep threatening, which is to make a Caltrain livery. NJT is having that frustrating experience that you get, I assume, with YouTube, where your video's stuck at 99%. If you're in YPP, it actually gives you a better idea of what it's doing. It doesn't just get stuck. bloke just materialised out of thin air. That'll do. Nice. Now the passengers can't get to me. All these people just appearing there. Let's go and stand there and see if someone appears next to us. Don't look like it. Whoop, there's one. Time to go. To a proper passenger start. None of this stretching cap, straight to run 8. We can just stay here now. Maybe not. Off we go to Gilroy, which is where you can change to BART or wander over to the airport. So this tunnel you can see to our left here is BART coming out of the ground. Go up in the air. These are the nearly 7-foot wide BART tracks, although in the game they're modelled as normal tracks. BART is considerably wider than standard gauge. It's kind of funny because BART took all this care to be earthquake safe, but none of the other railways care. Just for Metro. And then I missed this one. Uh-oh. So what are folks up to this weekend? As he comes into Gilroy a little too hot. But it'll be fine. Nothing to see here, officer. It's all good. So who's looking forward to Glossop when it comes out? And yes, I know there's been a leak. Not about Glossop. That'll do. Gilroy. Passengers for San Francisco Airport, alight here. If you wish to change over to BART, alight here. BART stands for the Bay Area Rapid Transit. Why do they call themselves Rapid Transit? Because then they're not a train. From here south, it's pretty safe. Because you're changing cities at this point, and the more southern cities have a different attitude to San Francisco. They tend to prosecute petty crime, so after Millbrae, it's better. Chat's gone very quiet. Are you all still live? I should actually check my roster and see if I'm on Puff next Sunday, because I can't remember. Let's have a quick look. No, I'm on Saturday. It's fine. So next week's live stream will go ahead. I am looking for ideas for next week's live stream. I might pop a poll in, actually. Why not, as we cruise down to Burlingame. Michael's here, but half asleep. I'm popping in a poll, so I can't run the horn at the moment. Took a bit longer to put that pole in than I thought, and we're probably going to sail right through Burlingame, I think. He's hoping there's no signals so I can go back. So it did take just a little while to put that pole in. Oh well. That's okay. There hasn't been a signal. We're going to stop before this one that's coming up, so we'll be fine. We'll just set back. Professional railroading at its best. You got it, Brad. Oh well. I think you're looking for that one. As long as we're going to have... Let's just stop there, actually. This we've got a couple of cars in the platform, that'll do fine. Yeah, what now? Tea and no biscuits. I think you're probably right there. Hello, Trainmaster. You arrived just in time to see me stuff up. Should be going through the next crossing by now if you're wondering. Off we go to San Mateo. And what's special about San Mateo? It's actually quite an interesting little city. It's got some good restaurants. It used to have... I've got track workers. It used to have a really cool camera shop, but unfortunately that camera shop has fallen by the wayside. I picked up three baby lenses when I went to their closing down sale. I should honk the horn, shouldn't I? Imagine living here with these coming past all day. Doing this. Some very patriotic people up there. Uh-oh, railway gates are open. I thought they fixed all of those. Clearly not that one. I actually thought I'd throttled up before, but I must have bumped rail driver when I went for the horn. Because it's not. Looks like people are interested in the World of Subways 7 line. Now, for World of Subways, do you want to, assuming that one stays on top by the... I'll leave that up for the end of the stream. We'll see how people go. Assuming it is World of Subways, do you want to run one of the game type things, or do you just want to run normal services? If you've not played World of Subways, particularly number 4, the others didn't really have it, they were just services. But it's got things that are very much game. They're kind of cool. They're sort of like scenarios in TSW, I suppose. Although none of the TSW scenarios have serial killers. Whoosh goes the 2 MP15s. And we're making up for the last Nebworth by stopping early. Passengers, this stop is San Mateo. Get off me train. G. Jenner says run 8 is best. For realism, yes, I agree with you completely. Run 8 is best for train handling. For graphics and gameplay, it could do better. Let's just say that. But for the realism, train handling, and being able to do things like DPU if you really want to, it's quite impressive. It's not for the faint of heart, though. If you don't know anything about trains, don't try Run 8, because you won't even be able to make it move. If you know something about trains, perhaps if you're a real driver, or at least you've watched enough. Gates are open here again. It is a train though, so it has right away. More open gates. Fortunately, that's it for a little while. Passengers, next stop is Hayward Park. Now, of the mainstream simulators with lots of content, so I'm going to ignore SimRail because it doesn't have lots of content. And I'll ignore the smaller ones like Sim and things like that. Out of the four, Trains is probably the closest to a model railway experience. And then there's Train Simulator Classic, which has started to get the experience of actual train handling. Speaking of actual train handling, I'm braking so hard that everybody's stuff's on the floor now. Because I'm Nebworthing another one, because I'm a twit. Let's just do it. Let's go into emergency. Why not? We'll just get off the train here, shall we? At least it stopped in the platform. And if I release the brakes now, we'll get through the penalty period and they'll pump up by the time we're ready to go. Crazy Dash says he thinks he's going to get Midland Main Line. That has had quite a few changes to it. I haven't actually played it since the changes. I've been a little too busy with... they have told us about it. I've been a little bit busy with Glossop. Passengers, Caltrain would like to apologise for the ineptitude of today's driver, who promises to have a proper crack at Hillsdale. On train, off we go. Let's get you into the red line. I'm actually tipping that that kind of meeting wouldn't have tea and biscuits, Crazy Dash. Besides, it's America, they don't drink tea. And your video's up, NJT. I haven't looked at your channel for ages, I must do that. One of those interesting things, the YouTube algorithm hides stuff that you want to watch and shows you stuff that you don't even care about. World of Subways is going pretty well. If you're wondering why the China train has to be not in China, is because I don't have the route it runs on. But I do have the train. They gave it to me as an ambassador. Bit far out from the crossing, aren't I? Oh well. Never mind. Yeah, Crazy Dash, I tend to agree. Coke and burgers, that probably would be it. Ah, courageous and bold conversation, Brad MacArthur. Yes. Let's exhibit the company values and abuse you by using nice words so we get away with it. That's pretty cool, NJT. That's quite a decent amount of views. Is that a short or a full length? Passengers, this stop is Hillsdale. Almost the suburb where Back to the Future was filmed, but that was Hilldale. I'll do, train. Whenever you're ready. Cool, so it's a long one. I haven't looked at what my best one is for a while. I don't think it's anywhere near that, though. Just what we're watching. I'll just pop over here onto YouTube and have a look. Where is it? Oh, it's time to go. Doors closing. Should be. Should be. Yep. Off we go. Next stop, Belmont. Don't know where Belmont is, but it is. So I want sorted by views. Nowhere near yours. Nearly 20,000 though. Which is actually my tutorial on how to get to the trains in Train Sim World 3. And my next most popular is a tutorial on setting up and driving the ICE 1. So there you go. So that's a bit interesting. The algorithm clearly likes it, NJT, or someone influential has promoted it. You may have noticed occasionally my streams get 50 people in them. That's because a guy in California named Al goes, "Hey, let's go over here." I like Al. Passengers, next stop is Belmont. What is the claim to fame of Belmont? I don't know. It looks kind of like a bedroom town. Partway between San Jose. It's at the top end of the tech district. It's far enough away from San Francisco that no one will rob your house in the middle of the night while you're asleep. That's pretty good going, NJT. Congratulations. Clearly a rail fan just staring into the cab. Oh, there she goes. She's going, oh, yeah, I better get on my train before that mongrel shuts the doors. I remember the path. I What's that school bus doing? Just drove through a field. Oh well. As they say. I think I just opened the right-hand doors. I did. That's okay. Straight to run 8. Alright. We're not moving. Brakes are off. We're rolling backwards. I have no power. What's happened? I clearly have throttle. There we go. I must have pulled the throttle back to run 8 while the doors were still open. Looks like World of Subways is still winning. No one wants American Truck Simulator. It's probably because it's a train channel. Would that be right? Passengers, next stop is San Carlos. Beware of the vampires. Love that movie. I think we're in a building. Let's get out of the building. Yep, building. Next stop, San Carlos. Don't tell the guys that run the video shop you're a vampire, they might stab you through the heart with a stake. I wouldn't mind path trains coming into TSW, actually. Because you've got some good options. It would join up with Trenton at Newark Penn Station. You could include the light rail around Newark. You would have the World Trade Center stop in the big shopping center. A massive white station. It's the cleanest thing in New York. It's probably the only clean thing in New York, actually. And you would have the subway that goes up to 33rd Street. And it's got enough overground and enough subway to make people happy. What am I doing, you ask? How do I get down the bottom? Oh, there's a dirty, great big long ramp. We're leaving this station late, clearly. Because we're going down here. I'm just curious. Ladies and gentlemen, Caltrain would like to apologise because your driver has run away. Aha! Route map. Thought I saw one down there. And I wish I'd seen these stairs, that would have been a whole lot quicker. Ah, not that chair, that chair. The Rockefeller's clean in New York, but that's because there's an enormous amount of money in that building. I didn't have any problems taking photos on Path. I got called out in the New York subway a couple of times. Especially since, as a photographer, I tend to do three things predominantly. I mostly photograph people, and that's mostly studio work with models or outdoor work with models, and some of them pay me. I do a lot of street photography of candid people out in the street, and I do a lot of texture photography. And when you're doing a lot of texture photography, things like a steel beam with rivets that's been painted 10,000 times since it was put in is really nice for textures. But when you're taking pictures of steel beams in New York City in the subway, let's just say it tends to attract the attention, especially if you look like this. He's a terrorist. He's taking pictures of our beams. Passengers, next stop is Redwood City, home to film studios and the tech companies that can't afford to live in the good tech areas. Yeah, interestingly, the US is similar to Australia in that in a public space, they actually can't stop you photographing things. In America, it's to do with your First Amendment. In Australia, it's just our privacy rules allow for it. I have had that conversation with a few places. They go, you can't take photos here, and I go, watch me. I really do wish this thing would use the air brakes more, because I wouldn't have to do this. I don't like that it dumps the air brakes and then goes on to dynamics. It's just not interesting. Because you can't do commuter-style braking with this thing. But that's okay. I should just live within my constraints, really. Yeah, there are MTA people who are pretty good. On one of the stations, I was peering in through the on-platform signal box. It's one of the few that's got a window that you can see through. And the lady opened the door and was not friendly, but she wanted to know what I was doing. And I just said I'm from Australia and I'm interested in railways, and I was just trying to figure out how the signalling worked. And then she let me in and explained everything, which was cool. It's pretty decent as rail transit systems go. It has its imperfections, but they all do. I think I did one of my title videos at that crossing when they first started to work. The only thing I'd suggest for New York subway to make a big difference for visitors to the city is explain it better. Because until you rip the uptown and downtown concepts, which is something that just a native New Yorker just goes, yeah, I know where uptown and downtown are, don't be stupid. But people who are visiting the city don't know. And there's the subway entrances have different lights on them depending on where they go too, which is a bit weird to figure out. Passengers, next stop is Menlo Park in a little while. Here comes the rain again. Passengers, Caltrain would like to apologise for the rain. We ordered a sunny day for you today, but it didn't quite work out. We're about to blast through the university station. Oh yeah, crossing. Maybe it is going to stop this time. Righty, 6 cars, that'll do. World of Subways 4 is still very popular. Off we go, departing from Menlo Park. Another crossing where the gates aren't working. Fortunately, trains have right away, so I don't care. It's one of the cool things about driving a train. No matter what the train driver and car driver do, if a train hits a car, it's always the car's fault. Oh wait, stop that. Get back by control. Thank you. Bloody windows. Took a gratuitous bridge shot and I'm almost missing it. There we go. One of the only bridges on the route, you've got to live it up. Put on some brakes, put on a single brake application. Let's see what happens. Not looking completely awful. It's going to stop just a little early, I think, with the last car not in the platform. Oh, maybe. Oh, look at that. The last car's getting one door in. See what kind of silly things you can do in a train simulation game. Are we there yet? Nearly. Got California Avenue, San Antonio, Mountain View, Sunnydale, Lawrence, Santa Clara, and San Jose to go. And then we'll jump into an F40. We will continue our trip down to Gilroy to get a bit of garlic. Passengers, California Avenue, next stop. The seldom used station. Looks like World of Subways 4 is going to be the winner still. Because there's been 10 votes, so that's pretty much everyone. Straight into emergency. Why dilly-dally? Let's see if we have any cars in the platform. Can you tell I'm slightly unexcited about this run now? It's not looking good, is it? To even have one. Almost had one. Almost. Oh well. Oh, you blow your horn. It tells me it's blowing the horn, pops a little thing up, but then doesn't do it. Forces the go against the brakes. Can anybody else tell I've had enough of Caltrain and I'll do anything to make it interesting? That'll do. One of these days I'll make my threatened delivery for this train. Next stop, San Antonio. I don't really have anything to say about San Antonio. Been through it. Don't think I've ever stopped there. Yep, so the rain stopped again. Miles to San Antonio. Passengers, if anybody knows anything about San Antonio, pipe up now. Well, folks, if you're wondering why the quizzes haven't been happening lately, the challenge is when you get to see the video. If people all got to see it at exactly the same time, which is what used to happen, or close enough anyway, within a couple of seconds, it'd be okay. But lately something's happened that means that people aren't seeing the video at the same time, which means people don't get the quiz questions at the same time, which means people get answers in quicker than other people. So there were some comments from various people, I think NJTE was one of them, where they would hear me asking a question and other people had already put the answer in the chat. And there seemed to be a 4 to a 5 second lag sometimes, which is not ideal for a quiz. And you don't want initial reduction. Actually, one of the things I wanted to find out was whether initial reduction on Caltrain really was £20, because that's quite a heavy reduction, £20. Train this light, it should be enough to stop it. Alrighty, San Antonio. Getting off here. Now's your chance. Do it now. Let's go up in the air and have a look at San Antonio. It's a big cross in the sky. That looks weird. Some kind of sports arena or something over there, probably. Next stop, Mountain View. It's a lot like Mountain Dew, but it's not yellow or mellow. Those people that missed their train, they're not even sad about it. The next one's in 3 hours. Mountain View, home of the American tech industry. Big names like Google and Facebook. And that crossing worked okay. Actually, just out of interest, I'm going to put the minutes past the hour into the chat. So right now, as soon as it goes 20, as soon as you see it, put in your minutes past the hour. So it'll be, for me, it's 10, 20, and as soon as it ticks over, as soon as it ticks over to 10:20, I'll press enter on this. Right, there it goes. Put in number of seconds past 10:20 or past 20 minutes past the hour for it is for you. And it would really help if I had the game in focus. So we do want suppression. Be interesting to see how long it takes chat messages to get out, because maybe I could do quiz messages using the chat. I would need someone to help with that, because when I concentrate on the chat and things, it doesn't go that well for the train, as you've probably noticed, like this one. Passengers, this is Mountain View. Get off me train. Too late. Lots of black clouds of global warming. Passengers, next stop is Sunnyvale for those tech companies who can't afford to be in Mountain View. It's pretty much all tech companies actually, from right down through this area. So from about Palo Alto all the way down through Mountain View to Sunnyvale, it's just tech companies. Oops, what am I doing? Silly person. Those are impossibly tight curves. The other way I could run quizzes is with something like Mentimeter. I don't know if people want to have an app. But I liked having the quizzes. I'm sad that I can't do it. They were good fun, and they were a good way to get lots of information about the area out, particularly for new routes and things. You fallen asleep yet, Michael Newbury? Anytime you want, train. Sometimes you stop from 20 miles an hour with an initial and sometimes you don't. You're a naughty train. We have a yellow signal coming up down there. I guess I could use polls for the quiz too. I probably have to figure out the API for that one though. And then I could just set it up with a button on the Stream Deck. I wonder if anyone's got anything for that. Doesn't look like anybody else has built something for that, so that's okay. Track change coming up. We're not going too fast anyway, so it's fine. Passengers, next stop is Lawrence. Lawrence is the most boring place on this line. Mostly industrial. To go slowly through here. Get our yellows. I have to remember to keep drinking because I'm still quite dehydrated from yesterday. We have a red signal at the end of Lawrence. And I'm hoping this train up here isn't on our track. Don't think so. I think we're going next to it. Alrighty, passengers for Lawrence. Off you get. Assuming we ever actually stop. Coming up after Lawrence, we have Santa Clara, which is a small station. Then San Jose Derrida, which is the final one for this service, where we'll swap back to Train Sim Classic and take an F40 the rest of the way out to Gilroy. Here's me hoping that this signal will change. There we go. It's a little weird. Let's just get a reminder for. Yes. Okay. Can't go really fast through here because of the yellow signals, but there's nothing stopping us getting to not really fast, if you know what I mean. How do you know when you're getting close to San Jose? Because almost nothing is higher than 2 stories. It's a very low town, San Jose. I meant to do 50 through this crossover, but 53 will do fine. Off we go to Santa Clara. And if you're a Doctor Who fan, Clara, my favourite of all the companions. Warn your trackside workers that you're nearby. We're going to have another track change to go into Santa Clara, because Santa Clara is a sideline, and I'm quite amazed the Baby Bullet service is stopping there. Surprised. I'm not sure if it's changed because I haven't tried it since they updated this route, but you didn't used to be able to have your own scenario stop at Santa Clara. Better start slowing down for the track change, I suppose. It'll do. Wait, stay at initial reduction. Bad rail driver. Passengers, next stop, Santa Clara. Be going to the maintenance depot. Step lively. passengers, Santa Clara. Good enough. You may hear some noises in the background here while I just get the next one set up. We ready to move yet? Not quite. I can stop you seeing Train Sim Classic, but I don't really have any way to stop you hearing it. On our way to our last stop for the Baby Bullet service, San Jose Tirada. We'll switch over there to Train Sim Classic, which I've just been getting ready in the background. And we'll take an F40 down to Gilroy to complete our California journey today. Next week's still looking promising for World of Subways 4. I think it's unlikely to change at this point. I also have another train game called Choo Choo, which we could play. Cruising past Seamoth, where these trains are maintained. Ooh, we had another vote in the poll. Hello, Pug Face Music. How are you? Welcome. Face Music is not that far from where we are right now, coming into San Jose. More of a Central Valley kind of a person. We crawl our way into San Jose, where we'll change games and go to Train Sim Classic. Complete our journey down to Gilroy. Because we can't do it all in this game, because this game doesn't go that far. Passengers, this is San Jose. This is our last stop for this service. Get off me train. Take your crap with you. Crawling our way into San Jose in that way that only trains can. They're not a very talkative bunch in the chat today, Pugface Music, I'm afraid. They were before. I think the talkative ones have all fallen asleep. It's the problem with streaming at this time. There's not a great alignment of the time zones. Righto, that's it for this service on this game, so we shall swap out of here. I'll wait for it to finish because I'm not going to try and run TS Classic with Train Sim World still running. The other way around's fine, but not this way because this thing eats too much in the way of resources. Just let it finish the scenario so at least I get it ticked off, or the service, sorry. Lock doors to finish. Alright then. So, let me just switch it over so you guys can see Train Sim Classic. And I'll get rid of Train Sim World in the meantime. You'll hear beeping away, and then back to Train Sim Classic. We're not going to do the full return to Gilroy and back, we're just going to drive down to Gilroy. Good evening, engineer. The weather today is calm and clear for our southbound journey. You'll be in charge of Cowl Train, train number 156, on a commuter schedule from San Jose to Gilroy. Please allow the passengers to board. And open our windows, which is good. There's our baby bullet over there. Pretend that, that side, we'll pretend that was our train that came in on the other service. It clearly wasn't. I wonder if it hasn't got one. Yes, it does. 371. Yes, we'll just pretend that one was ours. This one ready. Does have head end power to turn on? I don't know. Switches anyway. It's fine. It's time to go. we go to sunny Gilroy. Life's a bit like that sometimes, Michael. We're driving the train San Bruno. Locomotive 912. And oh, it's too fast, but we don't let that worry anyone, will we? We cruise off to the left. We go off to the right, that's the Union Pacific network down to Los Angeles. Going off to the left is Gilroy and some Union Pacific stuff. Gratuitous bridge shot, naturally missing it. Got it. Oh look, the bridge doesn't reflect. Yay, Transcend Classic. Looking like the rain will hold off long enough for me to mow the grass after I stream. How exciting is that? Maybe I'll just stream the grass mower. That'd be fun. What? I know there's people who do, but it's not really what the followers of this channel are interested in. One of these days I will do some recordings in the stand plan, but not yet. This isn't a lapping brakes, it's just a, one of those. Oh, this is a lapping brake. It's very strange though. It doesn't like the way the rail driver does it, clearly. Be that or its brake scripting is suffering from the floating point problem that we got in the last Transcend Classic update. An unfortunate side effect. You had to be in court. Oh, was that for your car accident, I guess? Should be able to claim the costs of that. So initial reduction does nothing. It doesn't put the brakes in at all. So yeah, I think this thing's brake script is suffering from the floating point problem. That's okay, we'll work our way around it. We'll survive. Hello, Rail Able, how are you? We're just completing the third part of today's California journey. We're on train 912, or engine 112 anyway. It's not train 112. And we're going down to Gilroy. That's not good, Michael. Too early. No amps. Oh, it's because you're still sitting on hold lap. You're at release. Now we're going to do it. Probably. Come on, train. So he did that thing where they go, yeah, I'm going to court on this. And they get there and the lawyer goes, you know, you really should plead guilty because you're kind of wrong, and if you don't plead guilty, it's only going to get worse. This cattle train leaves the platform. Full power. Next stop is the capital to realize. Not the capital of anything though. But it's a good thing you pled guilty, Michael. That makes your insurance claim a little less nightmarish. Won't be great for him. Where are we going to be stopping today? At Capital, Blossom Hill, Morgan, San Mountain, and Gilroy. Wait, what's going on? Why? Why? There are no warnings here. What happened there? See you later, rail label. Now, why did PCS trip? That's a very interesting concept. I have a faint suspicion. We have the lights out, so we can release the brakes. Maybe. Oh, release. So even though the light's gone out, it's not releasing the brakes. This might be one of the engines that got broken by the last update. Fine. That's a weird noise. Is it going to power? It's looking like no. Not believing rail driver, what about keyboard? Oh, just fix it back to idle. Why is that? Well, I think we might have to give up our run to Gilroy, I'm afraid. Because if the train won't go, and it won't go unexpectedly, then I can't really do much about that. Can't even turn off the belt. Oh, yes I can. I'll give it one more try. Make sure it thinks the brakes are off, which it does. No, the script just flicks it straight back to idle, so it's not happy at all. Busted, Jim. Ah, well, that's life. I think we might end it there for today. So next week will be World of Subways 4, the New York 7 lane. I will set that up before I go outside and move the grass. I'm sorry this train's decided to die. It's unfortunate. There are a few locomotives that don't work after the last TSC update. If you have one of those, they are working on it, and there should be a fix coming out relatively soon. It mostly affects things that have advanced brake scripting. I'm trying if I can just turn it to advanced brake scripting off. Where's it port? Where's it port? No. Is it below these? No. Alrighty. No, I give up. Not going to work. Life's like that. Look at all this expanse. You can do something silly and just go to Gilroy this way. Whee! No, we can't. We can't go that far from the train. That's life. Anyway, have fun, folks. It's been good having you along. Sorry that it didn't quite make it all the way to Gilroy. Sad. That's life, though, isn't it? Oh well. World of Subways 4 next week, and I'll have a think about whether it's service runs or whether it's part of one of the scenarios that's a bit fun, like the serial killer or something. Alrighty, enjoy yourselves. Have a lovely weekend. I hope it is good for you, and I will see you later. Bye. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.